Oh, there's somebody. There's another somebody. Yep, I'm back. Anyway, you know me, I don't worry about squat. It is what it is, and as my teacher always said, all things are as they should be. So, you know what would be really great is if at some point we put together a traveling video art circus. You know, you found a crone on Instagram. Well, that's good. There are a lot of them. Question is, does she have hair? I mean, feathers growing out the back of her neck? That's the real test. If there are feathers the back of her neck, she's the real deal. She's an ancient crone. We're all it's like everybody's a woman, right? When a little you know sperm and egg come together to make a zygote, between a zygote and then the little baby forming in the mommy's belly, for about 3 weeks, all the zygotes are girls. Every single one of us are women in the zygote form. And then we get this blast of hormones, and we're either a guy or a girl, X or Y, or somewhere in between. And that's where gay and transsexual and transgendered and the old LGBT, cocktail comes from. And it's pretty much scientifically shown that all that sexual orientation is simply a matter of how much hormones you get squirt on you as a zygote. We are superior sex. Sorry, fellas. Like I said, we're all women. We're all women. We're all girls. We're all girls in this boat. Now, once you pop out and you're brought up as a female, yes, women are superior to guys when they do not let themselves be guy-dyed. You know, when women try to be men, that's when they lose it. You know, Nancy Pelosi. Did you see me as Donald Trump on my morning blog about 3 or 4 days ago? When I tried to say in my broken German good morning, and I would call her Madame Pelosi. You know, yeah, I'm a female. I'm proud to be one of the girls. And as I grew up, everyone in my life, my grandma was the most important person to me. Mamo, um, the black wet nurse who fed me and who brought me to life. Dr. Teresa, who saved my life and my mother's life at birth. All through grammar school, I had a cadre and a chorus. The cadre was my male friends, and my female friends were my chorus, right? Who I'd sing with. And those girls looked at me as one of the girls. My mom was my younger sister. Not I was the youngest, but the youngest female daughter was a brownie, and my mom could never just trust me to stay at home and not burn the house down. So I had to go and be part of the brownie troupe, and she gave me a brownie uniform, a skirt, the tunic, the whole thing, right? And I loved the skirt. I mean, I thought the skirt was the best thing. You could take a piss, no problem, you know. And that's So yes, I'm totally down with my girly girl self. Estrogen attaches one and both male and female. That's right, Jane. Yeah, probably cultural. It is the whole dynamic about men and women. Like you go hang like that tribe in Brazil I stayed with, where I was the first white guy they ever saw. They had no real, touch of the, hidden hand. They were the savage that, you know, the guy who wrote Brave New World. Is that Orwell? Yes, Orwell. Maybe Towards Perception. Anyway, that guy was talking about. And the men and the women were one and the same. There was no and there was no nuclear family. It was clan. It was everybody was the family. Yes, we're all the same species, human. So and it's your orientation. I mean, I'm very platonic. I love men. My male friends, I have a ton of male friends that I've known 50 years, who I love dearly, deep, 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 deep. But I don't have sex with them, you know. I have many, many, many gay, trans, you name it, friends, right? Um, and they love me because I accept them 100% for who they are, and I'm who I am. And they feel comfortable in that. They like the fact that I am not gay or this or that. I'm just Al. And that's why I'm a great photographer. I'm a great shooter of human beings, photographically, is because people relate to me this. I've traveled the world, and I think I said this the other night. I've lived all over the place, and I treat everyone nice, and I go out of my way to make people happy. And they, I think, I don't know how many of you heard this story. I used to work for Bechtel, and I used to work for Ramco, and they had anthropologic, you know, entities within their little research whoop-de-doo, because they were looking at every little aspect of everything. And I also worked for the Smithsonian and a whole bunch of other things like that. And these are all corporate entities, right? Even though they're nonprofits, even though they're maybe part of the government, they're all corporate entities, right? And that's where the guys who got the money and looking for what the real deal is, not some scholastic textbook storybook picture of what it is. But, so I would be invited to go on these digs and these expeditions and stuff, and I wouldn't do what those morons were doing, because everybody who was digging holes and dusting things off and putting them in grids and blah, blah, blah were scholastics. They were all doing it by the book. They would dig shit up, and the head guy who worked for the person who I was employed by, um, you know, I never went out in the field. I would be back, either in town or in the tent or somewhere, drinking a mai tai or a gin and tonic, or depending on what which empire ruled, and and I would hang out with the folk, right? And when those artifacts were brought for me to look at, I was not prejudiced by any discipline, and so they would have them, and I would look at them, and then I would go into state and look at them in the 28 little TV sets and take them apart and put them in my book, and then open it up and see what the book had to say about it. And then I would write something up for the head guy to read. And then we would smoke something or drink something or talk about it into the night. and he would take notes, and and he would bring me, one or two things an evening, or one or two things a week, depending on how far away they were. But I never went out with them, so they were digging some stuff up in the Valley of the Kings, and that moron, that Egyptian guy who thinks, you know, he invented that term Egyptology. That's a made up concept. Give me a break. So, because most of that shit came from another planet, not from Egypt, and Egypt didn't exist when that place was put up. So, anyway, and that's a whole nother story. But so I was, when the pyramids, if you see pictures of it, pyramids going out, I guess it's east, no, west, towards the Orient. There's just desert. But you go look the other way, it's a big city that kind of grew up around these pyramids as a tourist center, hotels and, you know, Starbucks and, KFC and not really, but, lots of stuff to facilitate all of that other stuff. And and it's kind of back 20 miles, but it kind of creeps and they're little chunks. So there is a market that's not too far from the edge of the site, right? And that's where our hotels were. And there were a bunch of coffee houses and restaurants and the market where you could buy almost anything. And so I would, there was this one place I hung out that actually had air conditioning in the lobby. So I would just stand there, no insects, lobby, nice cocktails, and regular fare European food, right? But either early in the morning or after 3, I would go and walk through the market. And that's when everybody else would. Only the tourist morons would be out in the high sun, right? Because A, it was like being in a microwave oven, and B, it was so full of flies and disgusting insects. It was like, ugh. And the dust was always blowing and getting your eyes, and oh, it was terrible. But in the evening, the wind would die down, the insects would mellow out, the sun wasn't like a microwave oven. And so this one time, I'm walking through the market, and I see, it's a bunch of clothes and stuff, and they had all of these black garments folded nicely, and I pick one up, and it's like a spacesuit. It's black, and it's got like 5 layers on the inside, and there's a hood, and it covers you completely, and there's this little screened in thing, and I threw it over myself, and it was amazing. It was 20 degrees cooler inside this thing, and no insects could get in and no dust could get in. And I take it off and go, how much is this thing? And so he goes, 20 rupees or whatever. And I give it, he says, no, 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 we have to barter. So we do that little dance. And anyway, so I finally get it, and he puts it in a bag, and I walk down the street, and I pull it out of the bag, and I throw it over myself, and I'm just having a grand old time because no insects are getting me. It's 20 degrees cooler in there. I'm not being hit by the sun. It's amazing. And there's like it's like an air conditioner in there. The wind kind of comes in and goes through these little vents, and it's just amazing. Anyway, I've been there maybe a week and a half. And one of the things I do is once a day, when the call to prayer comes, I go and to the mosque and I go and pray. And when you go in there, there's a door for the guys and the door for the girls. Take your shoes off, put them in the little rack there, and you go in and pray. And I really, it's like meditating. These guys are real serious. So, I'm um, got a little book of the prayers, and it's in phonetics, so Europeans can say the words. And I'm trying. And anyway, so I've been doing that for about a week, and I'm the only white guy in there. And everyone first kind of looked at me strange, and then saw that I was trying, so they gave me the benefit of the doubt. And Amman came over and talked to me, and I told him, I'd been, in a I've been trained as a Jesuit priest, but bailed from that. And then I was trained as a Hebrew and bailed from that. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, yeah, I can read Latin and Greek and Hebrew. And he goes, and he takes me into his little library. We start looking at his books and we start talking about Kabbalah because he was really into Kabbalah, but they don't really talk about it in their sect. So he had a buddy he could easily, secretively, without worrying about it, talk about things he was interested in. Right? And movies. He loved rigging movies. So he became my new best friend. So anyway, once he and I got solid, he basically told everyone, this guy's okay, don't worry about him. And so everyone kind of would smile and say, hey, this is nice that you're taking part of our thing. And yes, the Talmud. And so anyway, I'm walking towards the male door with this spacesuit on, and this guy starts screaming at me, and I'm picking up every third word he's saying. I go, wait, 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 wait. I am not what you said about a female a person. And he goes, wait, in English, who's in there? And I kind of pull the thing off, and he starts laughing hysterically. And I go, what's so funny? He goes, you're wearing a burqa. I goes, so what? It's great. It's cooler in here. There's no dust, no insects, no. He goes, no, guy, it's for women. And I said, what? Only women get to wear this? I mean, what? Why are guys that low on the totem pole that they? And he goes, no, 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 no. Guys have their own version, but what you're wearing is a burqa. You can't go in the male door wearing a woman's outfit. And I go, okay, I get it. He goes, just take that thing off, put it with your shoes. Anyway, so we go in, we pray, and as we're walking out, he's laughing. He goes, you know, the mullah told me that you were a cool guy, but boy, you were beyond cool. You have made my month. Every time the whole time I was trying to pray, all I could think of you was wearing the burqa, and all I could do was laugh. This is like, he goes, listen, I own that coffee shop down in the square. And go, yeah, 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 I haven't gone in there because it's all these angry guys in there. Because why I own that place? So what I want you to do, we're going to walk there. You're going to throw the burqa on. There's this alley. You throw it on there. You wait in the alley. I'll go in and put my apron on, and then you come in about 3 minutes, and you come in there. Now this is a coffee shop just for guys. So you walk in there with a burqa. These guys are going to get as upset or more than I did at the door here. And I said, oh, okay, sounds like fun. So, you know, we walk down the thing. We pull into this little alley. I throw the burqa on. He walks in. I see him put on the apron, and he's serving people. And so, I count to three, put the hood on, and I walk in there. And everyone is like, they're about to skin me. And he starts laughing, and he comes over, he grabs the top and pulls it off. And he says something to the effect, this is my new friend. Isn't he funny? He's really a great guy, and he's trying to understand our culture. He's from New York City, and New York City, mess. And so they all start using their English on me, practicing, and we're having the great old time. And we're talking about everything. And within about 5 hours, they're blown away because they go, "You can't be an American. You have an open mind. You're trying to learn our language. And you're not a spy. And you listening to what I'm saying, and trying to understand. I mean, wow." And so I spent another month there, and every night I would go to a different one of these guys' houses and have dinner with them. We'd sit on the floor, eat off the big tray, and the food was great. And what I found out was that in the Muslim home, women rule. And they're just like Jews and Italians. The women rule, right? Now the guys go out there and have all this bluster and brouhaha, but the women rule. And that's one thing. And the women want to wear their burqa. I wanted to wear a burqa. The guy had to. I kept wearing the burqa, and he kept saying, "No, you can't wear this. Stop it." But it's so great. And then he went. We bought the which was second rate. Wasn't as good as a burqa. It was you because yes, you had this multi-layered thing over you, but it wasn't like a spacesuit. You know, you just had this thing you wrapped around up here, and it didn't really get the insects or the dust out of your face like the burqa did. And I kept wearing the burqa, and then everyone in that village section just got to know that this guy, he's just so much fun, and he's wearing the burqa, and it's not a diss on anybody. He's just he's just Al. So, by the time I left, everyone just said, "Oh, that's just Al," and they accepted it because I accepted them 100%, and I totally did. Tried to understand everything culturally. Every time I went to dinner at one of these guys' house, I would bring the whole thing is to bring food yourself. And the best thing to bring is pastries. So when I would go to one of these guys, I said, "So what kind of pastry does your wife and your kids like?" And he gave me this little list of, go to that shop and get so many of these, so many of these, so many of these, and get some, rose water and some of this, and go get a block of this tea, and you put it all in a nice box and cover it with a nice sash and a little ribbon, and bring that with some flowers, and that's it. You're in. My wife and my family will love you. So that's what I would do, and that's all it took to get these people to open up to me. And I had some really amazing photos of these folks. Of course, my father threw them away, and but see, the thing is, you don't need the photographs, you don't need the videotapes, you don't need any of that because I have my Akashic record. It's all there. And I am a griot. I just told you the story. And that story is richer than whatever photo I would take. I mean, you would go, wow, that's a great photo. But that's where it would stop. When I tell you the story, it goes into your bread pan and you visualize it and you're there. And that's what I saw the limitation. And that's why I started writing more and more because writing is more vivid than the photo. I still take pictures, I still do that. But I'm not driven. I don't have to document everything. When I was an anthropologist, when I was a social scientist, I had to document everything. And when I, was in environments where I was the only guy with a camera and it needed to be documented for historical, social, political purposes, like Diane Arbus, she's a good person who did that. And what is that woman? She's like, the reason why people in the Appalachian got any kind of help, this woman was part of the you know, the Triple C, and she was a photographer for them. And she and this guy wrote this book, and there's this picture of this like withered woman and a starving little girl. And that's kind of what brought social consciousness to America about the people starving in the Great Depression. And what's her name? I forget. It starts with a W. Anyway, photographs are good for that. And I can still take those pictures, And if I need to, I took a picture of a piece of architecture today because I was at a meeting and people are fighting over architecture rather than, and it has nothing to do with history, I think, because that history is gone. What those buildings were are no longer what they are. But there are other buildings in this city that could be used for something really good that are going to be torn down. So I went to this, city, development meeting, and all the people there have used all of the things I've written about this place for their own grants. So I'm like, whenever they have a meeting like that and they want, you know, my opinion, they kind of invite me on the down low, And I was taken to breakfast. They paid for my car getting serviced. Um, they took me to lunch, and they gave me a couple of Benjamins, and that's how I survived. And I gave them lots of information, and I wrote them up a number of bullet points, and hopefully that will transition into something that might be good for this city. In the last 20 years that I've been doing this, only a scant bit of what I want to see happens. So you know. Anyway, um, so that's the story. Who gave you the burqa? I bought the burqa. No one gave it to me. I was in the market and I saw it on the thing and I pulled it up and I threw it on. I said, "Wow, this is amazing." And then the guy didn't see me doing that. I kind of threw it over my arm. So I want this, and we kind of haggled, and I bought it, and then I threw it on and walked all over the place, and everyone thought I was a woman, a little bigger, a little more clumsy, a little taller, had weird shoes, but, they thought I was a woman because women wore burqas, not guys. It wasn't until I went into the mosque in the guy's door that the guy yelled at me, and he became my new friend because I made him laugh. And I didn't make him feel bad. And when I took it, when he explained what it was and the dynamic of it, I said, "Ooh, okay, I'm just a moron." And he said I was the first white European Anglo-Saxon ever to call himself a moron. Be self-deprecating. He said you were the first human, first white Anglo-Saxon European guy who I ever heard be self-deprecating. He said it was amazing. Yeah, I went in, but I had to go in with all of these jerk off, you know, Egyptologists who were telling me what it was. And my boss kept going, he knew I had a certain limit on people like that. And so he just kept pulling me over to the side saying, just relax, just don't worry about it. Just, I wanted to show you something. And that was the only time I went in there. Now I went to other parts of the pyramid, internal parts of the pyramid that most people didn't get to see, and those morons weren't with us. It was just the boss, me, and two other bossy guys. One was a Russian, and one was, I think he was French. And they were, again, of a certain level of exposure, of understanding that they didn't call themselves Egyptologists. So I've seen a lot of sacred sites in that manner. There's a pyramid in Ireland, right? And it is, and what pyramids are actual machines. They're energetic machines. They're time machines. They are vortex machines. They all of the pyramids lay lines all around the world, and they're everywhere. Not just in Egypt. They're in South America, Central America, North America, Ireland, Scotland, England. They're everywhere. Switzerland, Sweden. They're everywhere, and some of these things are still working, and that's why we're still freaking alive. So I went to this one pyramid in Ireland, and that's what my teacher Archie, that was his thesis in 1922. That that's what these things were, and it wasn't until ground penetrating radar was developed that they kind of started to, oh, look at this. And he's one of those guys who wrote books about, ancient aliens and hidden history, and that was his trip. And he was a good friend. He had gone to Oxford in the 20s with the old crone. And so that's why those two were my teachers, right? And and that's kind of how I met the old crone, and how I met the old crone and Archie almost at the same time. and they kind of stumbled across me. And I knew, I studied with Archie for a good 20 years. I kept That's one of the reasons I kept going back to Ireland, was the old crone and Archie and a few other people. And so anyway, after Archie died, he had uncovered one of these pyramids on the west coast of Ireland, and it was on one of those roads that goes east west. It was a Roman road. Anyway, I went there with these, scholastics, and they were like, the tour was being given, and it was called the Celtic Burial Tomb, and I was just going, ugh. And so it was really hot, and I didn't feel like going inside that thing, and so I was looking for some shade to sit and wait for these morons to come out, and there was this kind of doorway, and I kind of went down some steps into deep, and it was kind of a tunnelish kind of thing. Then there was a metal gate, and the smell of marijuana was coming from the other side of the gate, and I was like looking in, going, what's that smell? And this guy kind of comes out, and he's maybe 5 inches. He's about 6'3", right? I'm a little less than 6 foot. And he's a big guy too. We're both big. This is when I was getting into my big boy state. Anyway, he comes out and he's smoking a joint. And he goes, "You want some of this?" And I go, "Yep." I start smoking it. And he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. And he has the key to unlock this metal gate. And he opens and he comes out. And he brings a chair. Right? We both sitting down a chair. And he brings out like a thermos of like this lemonade poutine kind of, it's a brewed material, but it's really cold. It's very tasty, very lemony. And we're drinking this, smoking a joint. And I say, I look at him and I go, "So you run this place, don't you?" And he goes, "How do you know that?" And he goes, "First of all, you have a key. This is like a hidden thing. No one else is being shown this. This isn't on the tour. And as I am sensing, this is an active pyramid." And he looks at me and goes, "You didn't know Archie by chance?" I said, "Yes, he was my teacher." "Are you out?" I go, "Yes." Now, here's a guy I've never met in my freaking life. Here it is in 2005. Archie had died in like, 1989. And he's like, and we started talking about Archie. And he goes, "Did you ever meet the old crone?" I said, "Meet her? Yeah, I was like dating her." He goes, "That's right. You're that guy, Al." I go, "Yes." He goes, "I never got to meet her." And I go, "Well," and I said, "Did you ever go to the tea room in Limerick?" He goes, "I heard about it, but I could never find it." I said, "You run this place. You know it's a machine. I mean, the energy of this thing should be able to get you into all of these places. No problem. Just believe." So anyway, he becomes my next new friend. So, you know, we talk and we talk and we talk, and then the girls come out. "Where have you been? We missed the tour." And he looks at me and she goes, "Who's this guy?" And he looks like me, like a bum. He's not wearing a suit. He's got a I Love New York T-shirt on, and Air Jordans, and shorts and a baseball cap. And I go, "This is my new friend." And she goes, "Well, let's go. We have to go." And I go, "So, where do you live?" And he goes, I said, "We're going to be staying down in this. Oh, I wish I It's a town on the west coast where John Lennon and Yoko Ono had a house, and she still has that place. It's a really beautiful white place." He goes, "Oh, I live over there. Yoko Ono's my neighbor." And I said, "Oh, okay." And so I said, "We're going to stay in that little village." And he goes, "I know exactly the bed and breakfast you're in, and there's a nice restaurant right next to it. And it's got a nice pub inside it, and invite your those ladies if they want to come to dinner. They can." Otherwise, I'll meet you there around 8 o'clock. I said, sounds good to me. Well, the girls were tired and they didn't want to. Yeah, why you gotta go and see that guy? I said, because he's an interesting guy. What do you mean? You like it? He was just me, and you didn't even go on the tour. And I said, yeah, whatever. And so I went and had a really nice evening with him, and we kept up a nice. Um, I love writing letters, letter writing, until he died. He died around 2004. No, five. It was 2005. I guess 2006. And because he was, you know, way bigger than me, smoking cigarettes, drinking like a fish, and he was sad because he knew what was going on, but because he had this very important job, he had chose that. Now, he was because he was in charge of this whole site, and it's being dug up, etc., etc. Um, he had a certain freedom, but he was still stuck within inside the box. So we had a really nice conversation, and we wrote lots of very nice letters. And then he died. I never went back to Ireland again. John has found the key to perfect health. John, tell us what the key to perfect health is, John. So what's the key, John? Yes, tell us here. And what is keto? Oh, change the name keto. Anyway, so what pyramids are an energy vortex device, and all of the other interesting sacred devices that are all over the place. Eating meat, Vegas, no carbs. Yeah, that's kind of, yes. But, the real deal about health is balance, you know, having a balanced everything, you know, because it's not losing weight, it's keeping it off, I've lost a lot of weight, but I keep losing a pound or two every month and keeping it off, you know. That's the real key. The keeping. My blood pressure was through the roof. It's I've got it down to like you know, and part of your health is your mental health. Being balanced in your mental health. Not getting upset over things, being able to navigate around emotional situations, not expecting an outcome, not doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome when it's just going to be the same thing. You have to be able to navigate, change your life, and it's not just what you eat, it's how you breathe, it's how you interact with people, it's how you um, do a myriad, meditation, is how much good sleep you get, whether you create you meaningful relationships and things of that nature, and that you have your eyes open, that you're awake to see all of the beauty and and dynamics of love's co-creation. I mean, that's if you want to lose weight, that's kind of what you have to do, not just eating no carbs and just meat. The key is you can eat as much protein as you feel like, and it fills you up naturally. Yes, it's called a satiation, meaning feeling full. Yep, yep, yep. But you should, when you eat, you need to eat slowly and enjoy everything you eat. Gobbling things up, being mass consumption, even if it's, low carbs, it doesn't give you satiation, feeling satisfied. And not just stuffing as much into, your gut is full, but eating little bits, and enjoying every little morsel. That's one of the secrets. It's not it. Just meat, guns, nuts, tofu. Yep. Food is taken for granted. And I don't. I love to cook. I love to share. I love to enjoy everything that I take part in. That's why I love doing these chats because I'm sharing the chat. Cashews, peanuts. I only got four teeth left in my head. Peanuts. I mean, nuts are hard for me. But since I had my teeth worked on last Tuesday, I really haven't been able to eat much because it hurts, and and the less I eat, the less I want to eat. Yes, it's like don't eat processed foods. I don't eat processed foods, and that's pretty much it. No sodas, no fast food, no processed food. You know, period. No jars of peanut butter. Yeah, I make a bid. I make stir fries for John, and I have a crock pot. I love the crock pot, and I have a stew in there every day, and it's vegetables, and that's it. No carbohydrates, no pasta, no rice, just vegetables, and I just keep throwing them in there, and I use that as when I make a stir fry. That's the sauce of the stir fry, but it's always there for John to eat, and John doesn't quite take part of that. Yep. Yeah, I eat intuitively too, little bits. Yep. A few eggs, and we had this morning. I didn't. I really, like today, all I have really had anything to eat. I came back. Well, actually, I did have breakfast. Yes, I did have breakfast, and I did have lunch. And what did I have for lunch? I had meatloaf for lunch. Meatloaf, uh, and I had string beans and peas and spinach and meatloaf. Meatloaf Monday at my favorite. There's this place um, called the Shenandoah. It's in the hood, and it's like um, Cheers meets Archie Bunker meets Sanford and Son. It's really quite amazing. It's been around for 40 years. And it's kind of a workers kind of place, and it's got a real bar. I mean, you can get a cocktail there. Uh, yeah, I have a slice of bread here. I'll make myself a nice sandwich once in a while. But you're not, I've had the same loaf of bread, the same 16 slices up on the shelf for 2 weeks. And there's still about 12 slices left, you know? That's how much carbs I eat. Once in a while, I will make pasta. But, once in a while, a little chemo there every now and then. Some rice, maybe now and then. But mostly it's the crock pot with vegetables. And, I buy chicken. John likes chicken, so I make lots of chicken. And sometimes fish. And that's about it. And like I said, I lose a pound or two every month. That's a good way to lose weight, not like because if you lose a lot of weight fast, you usually gain it right back, a little bit at a time over a week or two. That's the way to go, at least for me anyway. I can't speak for anyone else, and I don't try to. I don't try to publish the secret of losing weight. And the thing is to lose weight and keep it off. That's the real deal, right? So I used to weigh almost 500 pounds, and now I'm getting down to 230. I was at 240 something before Christmas, and now I'm getting down to 230 something. And I'm just keeping losing a pound or two every couple of weeks, and that's the best way for me. I can only speak for me on weight and food. I like to eat the things that give me a sense of sus, satisfaction. Pretty much it. But what were we talking about? Pyramids and energetics and how things are right in front of our face. Big boy, yeah. Well, that was when I was working in a corporate world for desperate lawyers, and I spent a good 10 years in the swimming pool of chocolate mousse of hedonism. And baby, I tell you, I enjoyed every slice of that chocolate cake. Did you guys ever see the movie The Meaning to Life? And there was Mr. Creosote who just ate and ate and ate and ate. I mean, the most richest kind of amazing food until he exploded. Well, that was me. And I did explode. I died. I died in a plate of linguine. I was telling a story to these desperate lawyers, and then I keeled over into the uh, plate of spaghetti, and I woke up in the emergency room, and they were prepping me for surgery where they're going to open up my chest and replumb me and chop my legs off. And I said, "No way, Jose! Oh, you died. You gotta have a bypass. You gotta." I said, "No, no, 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 no." I see this guy next to me. He is like the Johnny Cochran of Florida, and he needs me. And I'm going to tell him if any of you morons touch me, to sue you until he owns your children. And so they, signed me out, and I said, you must know people in the alternative medicine. He goes, yeah, I have a couple of clients, and that could, so I need a colonics person. I need a person who does cranial sacral. I need an acupuncturist. I need a nutritionist. I need an herbalist. And he got me all those people. And he took me to this clinic in West Palm Beach where they chelated my blood, and they gave me a colonic every other day, and they put interesting flower Bach remedies into my colon and in in other parts of my body, and you know it re-energized the little creatures in my body, and they started healing me. And then I slowly crept back to health. Took 5 years. But I didn't get my legs chopped off, and I didn't get a open heart surgery. I'd probably been dead if they did that. So, doctor heal thyself is the thing. And also the thing you did, so when I got back here, I found five doctors who were the people I needed to take care of me, and I took care of them. And so they took care of me. And so I don't have to pay, I have no money to pay them, but they value um, me taking care of them. So that's the way it should be, you know? Anyway, I can only speak for myself. And again, I preface everything I say as your Sensei Al Bob. Don't believe a word I say. Check it out for yourself. You know? And what works for you is what you should be going for because, it's all about you becoming aware of your consciousness's free will and not getting stuck in any habitual patterns, and we all have them. We are in these ugly bags of water, and we are stuck as mud puppets in the illusionary Luciferian world, and so it's very easy to get stuck in habitual um, characteristics. Anyway, let's see. So that's about an hour. So we must have been doing about 2 hours. Uh, let's see. You know what? Do you guys want to do a meditation? Everyone needs to figure out how their body works and what's best for them. Yes, this is true. Let's see. It feels great figuring it out. Yep, indeed. Yep, yep, yep. Because who wants to get a prepackaged, plan? So, how would you guys like to go visit that pyramid in Ireland and go down that long hallway where I met my friend who ran the place? And you can meet him and we can go deeper and see the machine. Does that sound like something you folks want to do, or are you tired? And I have been there. Okay. So you know the place I'm talking about, 89, right? You're on the West Coast? For sure. Okay. So everyone get in a comfortable state. And I'm going to turn the bright light out and we'll go into state. Okay. And if this phone, if it starts buffering again, I may just pack it in. But it seems like everything's working right, so I'll turn the light out. Okay. Okay. Yes, 89. It's underground like the beehive houses that are near Skibbereen along the West Coast Highway are. But it's on this road. It's not on the West Coast per se. It's not, it's almost in the middle. And it's on a road that goes from the east. It's like if you were to go from Dublin, you'd kind of go up the center new highway. That's kind of the east side highway. It's like an interstate, it's a 4 lane kind of road. And there's, I don't know, an hour or maybe an hour and a half outside of Dublin, and you hang a left and go west. And you go, on a relatively largest road through a bunch of towns, and then you go on you know, a typical Irish road, and it's been well, at least when I was there, well paved because this was a tourist site, and there were lots of big tourist buses, and That's where it's physically located. And I'd have to go look at some maps to find it exactly. But so everyone, where it is located specifically in Ireland is because we're going to energetically go there in our state, right? So everyone, breathe in deep, energize yourself with the prana. Breathe in 20%. Quiet the squirrel in the cage of your card catalog in your head. There's my spirit self. See it clearly. See the prana going inside. See the photonic light being created in your mitochondria, illuminating your imaginary mirror, taking that light and going into your Akashic record. Sitting down at your reading table, your librarian brings your Akashic record. You take your right hand and you put it on the blank right page. You take your left hand, you put it on the left page. You lean into your Akashic record and you evacuate all the anger, all the hate, all the frustration into your Akashic record. And you close it. And then you go through the shortcut into your lodge. You go into your garden to the tree of knowledge. You look down at the roots of knowledge. And the coming up is the welcome home, Twitchy. And you're surrounded by all of the fairyland friends, all the friends of the woods. And in that woods, you will come to this area where there is a pyramid, and it's in the ground. And the part that's sticking out is not the point. It's like the pyramid is upside down. The base is what's sticking out, and the pyramid is down in the ground. And even though in the illusionary time, tourists are there, we're going there in the fairyland time. And there is along the side of the bottom, which is at a doorway. And steps go down, and there's a gate. Through the gate. We don't open the gate, we walk through the gate. And we go deeper and deeper and deeper to the point of the pyramid. Right, exactly. And so we are energizing this mechanism that we see at the capstone. And it's the two cylinders that we saw in Lucifer's office building at the top capstone, where the two columns, the one column where ant is in, and the other column where turtle is in. And these columns are in this pyramid. And what we do is we sit around these two columns and we visualize. We breathe in that 20% and we breathe out the 30%. And we energize ourselves with the prana and we ground ourselves in our chi and we energize every cell of our body. We see the mitochondria just vibrating. And we, through our imaginary mirror, take that energy aurically and connect it with each other in the circle around these columns, and we energize that whole pyramid. And now that pyramid, through our imaginary mirror, we can go to any place, any time, and as the header of this, the title of tonight's show is Into the Future Backwards. And the pyramid is upside down, it's backwards to our linear world. See it clearly. See the connection of that whole concept of like going into the future backwards. Giant organ pyramids all over the world. It is the organ of our earth, of Gaia. It's like the heart, the soul, the liver, the kidneys, and we're all part of it. And our mitochondria is the ever-ready battery of this process. Exactly. And that's why the tourists are allowed there. But it's just like eating fast food. We are now at the capstone underground, sitting in a circle of the cadre of the shock troops of love's co-creation. We are our energetics of our mitochondria is high test fuel, and it allows us, because we are going to it in love's co-creation, to be part of it rather than just used. And you're right. You are right, 89. The reason why the tourists are allowed to go there, and they're shuffled in and shuffled out in buses, is that they are, the low grade, potato chips that are kind of keeping the pyramid alive. Whereas we, with our intent to be there at the capstone underground, are bringing a more than high test fuel. We are bringing an intent of love's co-creation within the structure of that pyramid. See it clearly. So what are you all seeing? Can you see how the fungi underneath the root structure all around the world is like the fascia in our bodies? That's right. And that's what we're doing right now. We're a shamanic ceremony, a ritual. And in that process, we are becoming the alchemical process, we, each of us, that alchemical process, changing the base metals that exist in our ugly bag of water into that golden thread of consciousness of our free will. See it clearly. And let us time travel back to those times that 89 is talking about, where we gather at these sites to celebrate the ritual of love's co-creation. So I'm going to sit back here and visualize myself being there with you, my cadre, the shock troops of love's co-creation. See it clearly. I see myself and you, my cadre, in a circle. And we are on top of a cliff overlooking the Atlantic on the west coast of Ireland. A good 1,200 to 2,000 feet above the ocean. And the pyramid we are standing upon, its base again. We are in the way future, looking backwards. And all that is considered our modern civilization has already turned into dust. And we no longer have to worry about paying our bills. We're existing in a plane of consciousness where we freely exist, share, and manifest with love's co-creation. See it clearly.
And in every day and every way, we take the piece of the earth and we make it stronger with our intent of the actions that we lead by example. Aho. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. As it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen. As we breathe in, we are breathing in the prana from Father Sky. And as we metabolize it through our present intent, we ground it in the chi of Mother Earth. And within that balance of Father Sky and Mother Earth, we co-create with love. Oh, see it clearly. And every day and every way we take that piece of the earth and make it stronger. This is why we are still here. We are here in the past, present, and future. We are here outside of the illusion of Lucifer's linear time. We are in that darkness that encompasses every frequency of photonic light, of love's co-creation. See it clearly. See within the soul through my eyes. And on this cliff, we're not just in the presence of the energetic pyramid, but we are there with all our relations and all our fairyland friends. And that rainbow power is that shamanic, photonic energy of love's co-creation with all our relations. Not just from this dimension, but from every dimension. From the paranormal, the supernatural, of the elfin, the fairy. See it clearly. I'm going to be quiet again. I'm going to lie down and just let that energy flow over all of us and heal every square inch of every element, everything in our consciousness. See it clearly. Oh, 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 wow, wow. Oh, wow, 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 wow. And three, you're in a deep, deep, deep state of conscious relaxation. Your conscious mind is no longer part of your conscious free will. Your avatar is running very nicely on automatic pilot. You're safe and secure, and you're going deeper into this self realization of your intent. You're coming closer and closer with a connection with that presence of total humility and grace and self awareness and self conscious. And these are not, those last two are not negative things. Self awareness is being aware of everything you do and say and think. Self aware is when you are not just a meat puppet. Self aware is when you are conscious of your free will's ability to create with love, rather than just to go along, to get along with a Luciferian material world. See it clearly. Feel all things are as they should be. Feel your connective tissue with all your relations. Feel that great love of all of the cadre. Hear your voice sing with all of the chorus and feel your serving the shock troops of love's co-creation by being something more than just yourself. Feel this, see this, manifest this
in everything you are, in everything you do, in every way, be the example of love's co-creation. See it clearly. And three, you're going deeper and deeper into this state of love's co-creation, healing every cell of your body, every organ, every tissue. See it clearly. And three, that photonic light that comes generated through the flow of the prana through your blood into your mitochondria, and you see it around you in your imaginary mirror. See it clearly. Find that spot in the circle that satiates every part of who and what you are, that connects you to all of your relations. Bring your voice into harmony. Clearly. And two, you're now around the circle in the camp of the wood folk, of the elfin, of the fairy, of the gnome, the troll, and feel not a separation of the other, but a connection with all of the above, with all of that which is harmonious amongst every species. See it clearly. And in the middle of the circle is a fire. And in that blue flame of the eternal, you see the old crone. And she looks out from her home and sees us all in service to love's co-creation. And know at any time that you wish, you can go to the old crone's farmhouse on your own. Through your Akashic records, through a shortcut to your lodge, and walk down into a garden and go to the old crone's home through the roots of the tree of knowledge. See it clearly. Feel the drums of the circle. Feel all of the instruments being played. Feel the voices vibrating. And in every day and every way, you're going into the peace of the earth and making it stronger. And two, you're coming into your garden in your lodge and you're walking up the steps to the patio, then in through the French doors into your lodge. You bow with grace and humility to your lodge guide. And then you walk through the shortcut into your library. Walk over to your librarian, your animal totem, and your guardian angel, and you bow with humility, grace, and gratitude. And one, you're coming back into your avatar, your body. You're feeling your lungs filling up with breath. And one, your eyes are opening and you're in your home. You see clearly. And one, you're back here now. Chimo means I love you in Eskimo. Yes, I love gardening. I have a garden, a very nice garden in the deep green. And I have neighbors who have nice garden, and we share all our vegetables. It is quite nice. So this is the third, I don't know, third strike, but third time. Third time's a charm. 333. That's exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So today was Monday, Meatloaf Monday. And tomorrow is Tuesday. It'll be 1 week since I had my teeth extracted. And they're doing better. With all of your love and your prana and your Reiki energy focused on healing my jaw. It's done a very good job. Thank you. Rest in peace, Al's teeth. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, I still got a few left to chew. Uh, uh. Anyway, so I see you tomorrow. Do you have anything else to say? That was a very nice, a very strong journey, meditation. It's good to be back in Ireland. It's good to go into the future backwards. Move with intent. Thank you, all my cadre, my chorus, my fellow shock troops of love's co creation. So, at 1 hour
33 minutes and 33 seconds, I will say goodnight. And see you in the morning. And tomorrow at 7 p.m. And I would suggest to peruse. Go to the very beginning and start working your way back up this way. Because I did it the other day, and there's some pretty interesting ones I did long, back in May, June, July, August, September. And then October I came here. Mid October I came here and started doing two a day. Those other ones, those 40 or 50 I did in those months, they have a very interesting, different quality to them. And I love you all. And every time I do this, I feel great gratitude for all of your presence. Yeah, the Crohn's at 88K on Johnny's channel. Be nice if some of these guys got that big. Attitude of gratitude. Oh, I like that, Dragon. Attitude of gratitude. I feel great gratitude that we're all doing this together. Right? And yeah, 88K would be interesting, but we have 7 point something billion relations that are part of this. So it's all good. And every day it's getting closer to spring. And yeah, there are a lot of people who have a hurt heart, have are traumatized. And with our love, we can help them. All we have to do, we have 20 seconds here. So let us just close our eyes and send love to all our relations, to co create with love, to heal all those sorrowful hearts, those sorrowful lives. We can help their oh. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. See you at dream time. I'm going to go to sleep pretty quick here, so anyone wants to drop in on dream time, I'll be asleep. You can come with me. We can go back up to the upside down pyramid, and we can go into the future going backwards. I love you all.